here going to be going over our standard operating procedure, aka an SOP, because that's what we use to help people grow.
Yeah.
We don't use a schedule.
We don't do schedules.
Schedules, I don't know, I won't say they're outdated. They're just outdated.
Hey, schedules are cool if you're in like a hydro grow.
It makes it super easy.
Yeah, it's cool if you don't care about soil testing, sap testing. Yeah. But what we've come to the conclusion is whenever you get sap testing, for example, it pretty much blows every schedule out the water. It makes you understand that, damn, I don't need all this stuff. So we decided, how can we help the most people without saying, hey, you need to do this? Yep. Well, we decided a standard operating procedure would be the best practice. So we come up with one.
Yep. And so this is basically what we use with all of our customers. This is the first time it's been articulated on a piece of paper.
Yes.
It's going to be downloadable from our website. It'll be in the link below this video. It's going to morph. It's going to change. We even have it as 1.0.
Yes.
Because this is not the end-all, be-all. But it's a lot of work to get to this point.
It was. I mean, it's like the practice. We obviously have to practice what we preach. So we wanted to put all of everything we're saying in effect first before we bring it out to other people, even to tell them to do it.
Yep.
So yeah, it just takes a lot of time, a lot of research in terms of just trying shit out, see what works, what doesn't. And this is a consistent thing we found.
Testing and testing.
Yeah, testing. And of course, all of this has been made with heavy metals in mind. Exactly. So this is our best practice to stay below any heavy metal limit, and just to still be able to push your plants the way all of us as growers want to.
Yep. And you can do more than what's on here, but this is a base that we use that we have our customers passing testing with.
Yeah. So. Yeah, you can always add, but that's up to you guys, and then we'll go over everything.
And caveat, it's not guaranteed you're going to pass heavy metal testing if you follow this.
Yes,
FYI.
100%.
But typically you do.
Yeah. So yeah, kind of just going over the layout a little bit. I don't know how it works for them.
They're going to see it right here.
Okay.
So
I can move this?
Yeah, totally.
Can they see the marker?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, if you're looking at it for you guys, you see how it says clone and seedling, veg, flower, and between runs. So you have columns and rows, right? Columns up and down, rows east and west. So in each column, you would follow that until you're on to, let's say you move from clone and seedling to now you're on veg. And now you would follow that column of veg up until you're done with the veg. Then you follow the next column of flower until you're done. And then there's actually an in-between runs column as well. And then going from east and west, we have the feeding portion, which is the green. And within feeding, it shows, water only. We absolutely love Organics Alive, for the record, and compost tea extracts. So that's really all we feed consistently. Of course, we have soil testing in there. Below the soil testing is sap testing. Then you have your integrated pest management, your IPM. And then finally, in like the brown yellow section, is your defoliation and trellis. And then I guess the real finally is now you have your light schedule and what we like to keep the aerometer at. And if they can see me scrolling kind of.
I'll be showing it.
Okay. Well, when we get to that portion, you'll see the aerometer reading is the same the whole time.
It is.
It's really easy. Same with the light schedule. It's not the same the whole time, but I mean, it's standard light schedules. It's nothing crazy. So yeah, it's kind of a quick little layout. Obviously, you guys look at it, and if you have any questions, we have on the very bottom of our SOP. You can always call us, and we will happily help you any way we can. If you have suggestions, whatever, call us and let's get this conversation going. But yeah, let's just kind of, and then finally, yes, we came up with this, of course, to help, but more importantly, like I said, we really focus on sap test and soil testing. So whenever you get that yourself as the grower and you receive the results, you're going to learn so much. And that's the biggest thing to this. As a grower, it's going to help you learn more rather than just following a schedule blindly and then just, that's it. You're going to learn every grow. You're going to know more than you knew before the beginning of the grow.
You're going to know why you're using products.
And why am I doing this? That's a big reason.
Why am I using this? Because I got a test to show me that I need to use this.
Exactly. So again, we came up with this to help, but really it teaches people and it makes people understand this is my grow. Not this is just a schedule I need to follow. This is my grow and what my shit needs.
Yep. And this applies to a tent or 100 lights.
Yeah, it's very scalable. It's the same process whether you have one plant or a million plants. It's the same thing. You're gonna do the same thing. Obviously, it's a little bit harder
with customers on each end of the spectrum.
Yeah, we do it again, like you said at the beginning. We do this with all of our customers, so it's not, it's someone getting special treatment or anything like that. It's we have this standard operating procedure that works for everybody, right? Because we put in place how you need to get soil testing, you need to get SAP testing. And with those two key factors, what you're adding will be different than the next guy over there because, again, your soil or your plants might not need what that next guy's stuff needs. So it really helps keep you safe, and you're not adding shit that you don't need. It's really important on that. So yeah, I guess let's just.
So you're probably going to talk the most because you made this.
Yeah,
to be fair,
with his help,
he's 99%. I'm 1%. So he's probably going to. He knows it more intimately than I do. I've just basically gone through and torn it apart and re-put it back together, and then say, hey, this sucks.
Again, though, he also helped with the procedural parts. I literally just put the shit on paper. It's not like I came up with all this.
You're probably going to talk a lot more. So if I'm quiet, I'm quiet just because we're listening to him. Cause he knows it better. But all right, so you want to just get started? From the top?
So let's just go into the feeding. So normally during cloning, the seedling stage, also real quick, I put an asterisk next to all types of shit here because everybody's is different. Obviously, you might have some clones that go up to 21 days, whatever. And so there's an asterisk because I don't want you guys to chastise me because I put it in a window.
Or seed takes 7 days to pop.
So just if there's an asterisk next to anything, note it could be subject to change according to every person, your results, all of that. It's subject to change, your environment, yeah. So just note that. If you see an asterisk, no, it's not a set in stone thing. It could be longer or shorter, whatever. But ultimately, during the clone and seedling stage, we're feeding water. We don't do anything crazy. We just give it water. And most of the time, that's more than enough. It'll get you through to the veg stage.
It will.
And a fun fact, actually, if you look in the notes section of the clone and seedling, he has a really cool video on how to clone. It's so simple that I actually recommend going to check out that video. And I put it on the SOP, so in case you guys aren't sure how to do clones, watch that video and boom, now you know how to do clones. And then also that's literally it for the clone and seedling, water only. So now we're to the veg portion, and it takes 1 to 4 weeks. Again, there's an asterisk there. Every day we don't water organics alive, it's just straight water, meaning, let's say there's 7 days in a week. 6 of those 7 days you're feeding water only. The one day you're actually feeding something would be this organics alive, and we do 1 teaspoon per gallon of the VN during veg, and then on the FPF grain extract, kind of just like how we do Thermex, it's 1 milliliter per gallon, but we just boop, and that's it. It saves me a little bit of time. But again, a soil test is really needed for all of this stuff, because what if you have some soil that's super jacked in nitrogen, and then you might not need the VN, right?
So there's like a caveat to it.
Yeah.
That's why it's not a schedule.
Yeah, that's exactly why. And when you guys see it, there's actually an asterisk next to the VN, because, again, you might not need it. So therefore, disregard that. And I even put in parentheses, a soil test is needed before using Organics Alive products, as you may not need specific nutrients it contains. Meaning, like, let's say that VPK has potassium and phosphorus. You might not need potassium, right? So then the VP? What is it? Yeah. Shit, my mind went blank.
Yeah.
The VK or whatever. You guys know what I'm saying. So then the VK might be better for you, whatever. You guys know what I'm saying.
Just use what the data shows you.
Yeah, what your data shows. And then finally, there's a compost tea section. Oh, shit, I forgot this can do that. There's a compost tea section on the feeding. We like to do 2 compost teas cycles. So one when you first plant and veg, and then the second whenever you first flip to flower. Those 2 times, more than enough. I love compost tea extracts.
So why do we only do 2?
Yeah, we only do 2 because compost is one of those things that's ever changing, and we can't verify other people's heavy metal content, right? So it's
even a product that we have.
Yeah, I mean, compost is one of those things. It's using microbiology, so like the nutrient values, everything is like kind of ever changing in compost. So it's erring on the side of caution to You just do 2 times,
And it works.
Yeah, and even then, Dr. Elaine, she recommends all her people just do it. I want to say 3 times in the entire in an entire season. So yeah, 2 times safe, right? And so now we're already done with the feeding portion of veg. Now we're on to flower. So again, you're still feeding as needed. Water only every day. Aside from the one day you would be doing organics alive if you needed it. If your soil test says you could use it.
Typically, you need it.
Yeah, a lot of times you would need it.
In flower, pushing it makes more sense.
For sure. And Organics Alive is one of those products. I don't want to say be cautious, but they even themselves their label rates are even cut in half because they're also protecting people from their own product. So if I'm saying use 1 teaspoon a gallon, Organics Alive is like, it's 1 teaspoon a gallon, but I don't know, you guys know what I'm saying. They also dumb it down too. So
but
we don't want people to go
2,
crazy.
3, or 4.
Yeah, they said you can go up to, I think 3 times is the data that they have. Don't quote me. I believe that's what they said. They've done research up to 3 times, no issues, everything's fine. It's just err on the side of caution.
And this is base numbers, assuming your testing allows it.
Yes, exactly.
Depending on what your testing says, you might want to double the VPK or double the VN.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I've tried that.
Yeah,
We've
exactly.
done 2 teaspoons of VN in flower, actually.
Yeah, and it's fine. You know, it's fine. But again, our soil test said we could do that.
Or SAP test.
The SAP test in that
SAP
sense.
test,
Yeah, said that we could do that.
Yeah.
So now, we also, if you look, given our soil and SAP test, we still need a little bit of nitrogen in flower. So what we do is we just do half of the label rate of VN because we really like Organics Alive and there's no heavy metals in their products. So it's one of those things you can kind of aggressively use safely.
But half teaspoon is all you really need in flower.
Yeah, you don't need a lot of nitrogen.
You can go up
in
to
flower.
1. I tend to do 1 more than I do half. But I think being, conservative, I think that's better.
And then 1 teaspoon a gallon of their VPK. Now, I kind of mentioned a second ago, they have a VK and a VPK. Yeah. The difference, if I could see, the VK is 0,210, while the VPK is 0,010,8, right? So we just use the VPK. Yeah. You can use both, whatever, but it's 2 difference. Like, it's not worth.
No, but seeing the testing that we see, typically the VPK fits.
Yeah, VPK is.
And that's more based off like SAP testing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then finally, remember, whenever you flip to flower, that initial compost tea extract at the very beginning of flower helps you get through. It helps with nutrient cycling, helps with your pest management, all of that stuff. Bringing microbiology into your soil is amazing.
Yep.
And that's it. Now you've harvested. Now you're in between runs. What you want to do in between runs is just water your soil, making sure it doesn't dry out. A lot of times we like to change filters if they're needed. Yep. But that's it. That's all the feeding that's done in a living soil cultivation, whether you're home grow, commercial grow, it's the same shit. That's what we feed on the weekly basis and for all of our customers. That's what we have them do.
And going down the notes section, your video on how to make compost extract.
Yes, I have a little video on how to make a compost tea extract. Yeah. And that's about it. It's really quick. It takes you 2 minutes. Yeah. It's so worth it just to do.
Between that's on the notes sections and the clone video. Those would help get you up to speed.
Yeah, on this first initial portion.
Yeah.
So now we're down to the soil testing, right? So again, you really won't need to do a soil test during the clone and seedling stage, of course. However, in the veg, this is one of Chris's corrections. You want to get a test early in veg. More specifically,
on your first run.
Yes, more specifically, get it done on your first run of fresh soil. So you have fresh soil. Yep. Go ahead and get a soil test, so then you can amend, and it might help down the line. It will, but
like really,
it's really for the next round.
More specifically, is if you're like vegging for, say, you're 3 or 4 weeks in, getting that soil tested a month, you've already lost nutrients. Your plant's already taken up nutrients.
For sure.
Even if it was 100% balanced when you bought it or made it, is now not balanced.
Yep,
so
absolutely.
That first run is what's getting a soil test.
Yeah, and especially if you're someone like us, we keep our cultivars the same. So if you're not changing your cultivars, it makes life easy. It just makes it easy. That second, third, fourth run of the same strains, it makes it easy. You have all this data already.
Yeah.
So let's say it's your first run in soil. Now you've gotten your soil test. You're gonna amend according to those results. You're not just gonna get a soil test and then, as funny as it sounds, I hear this all the time. Someone will send me in a soil test. I'll get the results, do their soil test, and then I'll talk to them. And since they've given me a soil test, they've added shit in their soil.
Yep.
What the hell? So like now
Like
my data,
yeah,
it's like now my data is no longer accurate.
It
So
doesn't work anymore.
yeah, so definitely get a soil test. Don't do shit until you get the results and have applied that, because you kind of are just wasting money in that sense.
And time.
It's shooting in the dark. It literally just stabbing.
And then when it doesn't work right, you're gonna blame the soil test.
Yes, you're gonna blame me. Even though you screwed it up. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Why do you guys think people do that? Do you think it's like a habit?
They're tweakers.
They're tweakers. Yeah, tweakers in a good way.
Yeah,
tweakers in a good way. Everybody wants the best shit. Who doesn't? Like, that's the standard.
Our S.O.P is like the biggest elimination diet ever that somebody's gonna see, because there's no tweaking.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be hard for people to follow.
Yeah, and we have seen that. That's the other thing. It's so simple and easy to follow that people who think they need this or that, or they're listening to the buddy down the street or following a schedule, they just look at this and it's
make your brain explode.
Foreign language. Yeah. But literally, it's the easiest thing ever. Just follow your own data, and you're fine. And
don't get in your own way.
Yeah, don't get in your own
way. Out of the way.
And then you would have learned, and now you know why you're doing stuff. It's just great to do it this way. Yeah. Whenever you get your soil test back, you're gonna amend. A lot of the times it's just dry amendments. Yep. And for the major nutrients, like shit like gypsum and stuff like that, I have them mix it with compost or worm castings to help become more bioavailable a little bit faster. Yep. And then just apply as a top dress. Yeah, and it's way easier to spread versus a powder. Yeah. It just spreads better. Yeah. That's it. That's all the soil testing you need. You've gotten one done, and now you're in flower. Keep going. Now you've harvested. That's the time. That's the best time to get a soil test. In between your runs, right after you harvest, you don't gotta wait a week. You can even do it a week before you harvest. Whatever. Totally. Just near the end of your run, enough time to where the shit hasn't been broken down more. Chop, get a soil test immediately, and now you're on for the next run. You'll be able to start your next run sooner because I already have your soil test. I've already gotten it back to you. Boom.
And cycle after cycle, that's when you're going to test.
Yeah, and then
harvest test, harvest test, harvest test.
Exactly.
That first one, most people aren't going to do a veg soil test in first run. Yeah. We do it because we want.
Yeah, and for I didn't put it. I wanted to. For best results, test during that first run. Yeah. But to answer like general questions, it's between runs.
It is.
So you've tested your first run to help with the first run. Now you get it.
You're doing it for the second
run. For the second run, at the beginning of your run, you're doing it at the second run. And the third run, it's at the beginning. Yeah. And so on and so forth. But that's it. And really, it'll end up just being one soil test per run. That's it. Just one soil test per run, and you're good. Yep. So now we're on to the SAP testing. And you've heard us say in previous videos, you have to choose one. A SAP test is the way to go. It just tells you so much more.
It really does.
It tells you what's your plant is taking up and the future of where your plant is, where your plant will be. So if you're getting that, you can adjust your stuff so much better and more accurately. With SAP testing, you're going to foliar to make these corrections versus soil testing where you're top dressing to make these corrections or watering it.
And when you correct it, it's like correcting it right then.
Yes, you're correcting it right then.
When you top dress, it can take weeks or even months for it all to get broken down and be bioavailable. SAP testing is, I got the data, we're spraying the plants, hopefully it soaks it up.
Yeah, and if we normally recommend SAP test results using Blue Gold products, those guys are the bee's knees. They're really cool. They're those guys. Fun. Call Blue Gold and just talk to them, and they will blow your mind. Those guys are really cool for the record. Just for the record,
they are.
But here's another thing we've known: 2 weeks before you're gonna flip to flower, go ahead and send in those leaves. Get that 25 old leaves, 25 new leaves, and send them in. The reason being is because there's only two labs in America There's probably more.
There might be
There's probably,
3 now.
Yeah, there's like
but
3.
there's only a handful.
Yeah, there's only a handful in America, so I have to get them, send it out to them. Then they got to get the results back to me,
And
so
it's
then
a
I can run
2-week
the
process.
Yeah, it takes about 2 weeks.
So if you are 2 weeks before flip, send it in. We get the results basically when you flip. That gives you 2 weeks to do foliars before there's any like bud formation or anything like that.
Yes.
That's what's key.
So it's so important.
We actually used to take samples in later, and we've gone back on that.
Exactly, and that's why we didn't want to just come out with a SOP because
It would already been changed.
Yeah, we've made mistakes on our own SOP that we were like, this is better.
Yeah. Well, because we were getting samples, we were telling them to do it at flip, and then 2 weeks in, we get the results back,
and then now they can't release.
Yeah,
right?
maybe you squeeze in one foliar,
it's
maybe.
just not enough.
Yeah,
it's just not enough, and you don't want to do it like that. You
No.
want to not be pulling your hair out when you're making these corrections.
Yeah.
But again, you're gonna foliar according to the results, and I put that in the veg section just because I want you guys to understand. That's when that process needs to start. By the time I get the results back, you'll more than likely be in flower.
Yeah.
So you're making these corrections during flower.
Yep.
At the top of that section, I put in all bold, all caps, never foliar anything after 2 weeks. That is a practice we simply just don't agree with. You guys can say whatever you want, chastise me, whatever. I actually don't care. 2 weeks after flower, buds are forming, and there's simply not enough data in the world that we have ourselves at least to say that it's safe to spray anything.
I think it really comes down to, well, whatever, the level, what is safe. We're coming from a heavy metal standpoint, to be honest. That's what safe we're worried about, because you can spray something that has heavy metals in it, say in week 3 or 4, and it's safe for you technically, I guess, or we could agree on that.
I have a client
but you
who
could
does,
fail.
and he did not fail, but I was sweating when he said, I'm going to go ahead and do this. I was like, oh my God, no.
Yeah. It's just safe to not do it.
It's just the best practice.
It is.
The safest practice. And again, we always err on caution because we understand people want to do the best they can. So it's our way of kind of protecting you guys from yourselves in a good way. We're
But
never
in that
gonna
2 week
hold you
period,
back.
from start of flower to the 2 weeks, you can foliar 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, you can go crazy.
Yeah,
you
and
can
we've
go crazy.
done the data where we pull a sap, we foliar, and then we pull another sap. It fucking works.
Yeah, no, to
You
see
can
the
see
change.
the difference. It's
Yeah.
not bullshit.
No,
it is
it's
legit.
not.
We are able to pull this data. We don't have to speculate anymore. You can see that I did this and this, and it changed. It moved the needle this much.
Literally, that's why
Yeah.
blue gold's so cool. Like, for example, selenium. Let's say it's just throwing a number for math
That was
purposes.
like a random one.
Yeah, just throwing a number for math purposes. 1,000 parts per million, right? You using their products can make it 1,001 parts per million.
Yeah.
It's so cool and very accurate. And when you're doing shit like that, when you have the data, you
And you
are
be able to
making these
look at-
corrections so confidently. Like,
Yeah.
you're like,
And you can look at your historic data from that garden that you're growing in, and you can look three runs back or 4 runs back or whatever, and see that I did this and this, and it moved to this much. I did this and this, and it moved this much, and you'll start seeing like, you can even graph it.
yeah.
So you can visibly see it, and all of the people in the garden can see it. Or if you're a home grower, you could graph it if you're.
And like
picky
I've said, we run the same two. We love Killer Cupcake Gelati. Those two strains are great. We've been running those for a while.
And the results are always similar.
Yeah, they're always so similar. I don't want to be coming out with an SP say you need a sap test every time because you should.
You should.
In the case that you're financially struggling, like I am, not just it could save you money. You know, you have this data and you're running the same strains. You already have this data. It helps. It's not nearly as accurate. I cannot stress that enough. It is not as accurate, but it helps you.
One thing is front-loading nutrients, which if you're going to do something like that, there are people talking about that. We talk about that because we know these strains and we know what they're going to be deficient in once we flip. And so if you're thinking of front-loading nutrients, which means you're going to push these, like with us, it's calcium, phosphorus, and some micronutrients. We know these strains are going to be deficient in that. So, in veg, we are already doing foliars with those because we have historical data that we can look at, and we know they're going to be chronically deficient.
We've tested these strains, sap tested them multiple times.
Yeah. So we know that mid veg or whatever, we can start hitting with foliars, hitting with foliars, so that when we do finally sap test, that hopefully we're not as deficient as we normally would be.
Exactly.
So it's a good way to know how to front load different nutrients. And if you are going to do that and you don't have that data yet, you're going to want to do it real early on.
Yeah, and I mean to get the most out of the strains too. You know what I'm saying? Because the way the Gelati and Killer Cupcake did this last run, whew, it was nice. It was really cool. It was really cool. So we got to push those strains more than what we normally would have. Because we had this historic data that we've been running. You know.
You can just push more into it in veg than you can in flower. You really can.
Yeah. So next part is our integrated pest management, the IPM, right?
Which we're not entomologists, so keep that in mind. But we have used this with customers and ourselves, and it works.
Yes, these are the predators that we found.
And it's not the end all be all
to work consistently for us.
We have customers all over the country, all over the world, and you have different things that, here thrips are real big. We don't see a lot of spider. I mean, people get them, but we don't personally.
We don't see as much spider mites. Thinking about it,
No, thrips a lot.
I see thrips way more than spider mites.
Thrips a lot, and so your different area is going to have different insects.
Yeah,
so
different dominant bad guys. And
so keep that in mind.
So we normally do 2 spray applications a week. And you guys, if you see in our previous videos about how we did the grow, we go really into them. But for, let's say and we alternate between the 2, but we like Sulfoil X and MP. The 2 really easygoing.
And they're fucking cheap.
And they're super cheap.
That's
like when
thing.
you look at the bottle, what is it? $82?
Yeah, it's like $80.
It's $82, but it's 2.5 gallons. Yes, now he has to go get it. It's 2.5 gallons. So I mean, yeah, you're spending $82. But as a home grower or even a commercial grower, because that's what we recommend for commercials. Forever, dude. Like that's that's a lot.
80, and I think this is like 130. Like that's
2.5
ridiculous.
gallons. Like it's gigantic.
You're literally getting ripped off from everybody.
Everybody else.
Yeah, anything that is advertised to cannabis specific, like we have some of them because people like them, but it's like a quart's like $150. It doesn't make any sense. These are super effective. This is what they use in like greenhouse industry and actual vegetable production, things like that. That's why they're so cheap. So
they work really well.
Really
we like to alternate between the 2. So let's say I did it on a Monday, on a Friday I'll do impede or vice versa, whatever. We like to do it 2 times a week during veg.
Yeah.
But you can also add your soil dwelling bugs in veg as well, such
100%.
as your nematodes, your rove beetles, things of that nature.
Or even if you're popping, we didn't put this on here, but if you're popping seeds in a solo cup or something like that, you could add soil dwellings.
Yeah. Especially nematodes. They not only
100%.
help with your pest management, but nutrient cycling because they're eating bacteria and fungi.
Yeah.
So, it definitely helps, and I highly recommend using those. All the time I'll get people like, why do I have these issues? And really, they just need fucking rove beetles. You know what I mean? They have all these pests coming up, and they're fighting them with all these $1 million sprays, and really they're not fighting the soil battle, and that's where they really are. That's where they're multiplying shit like that.
Yeah.
For thrips. But anyway.
So sprays in veg, Sulfoil like a Monday, MP like a Friday.
Yeah.
And you just keep doing that, and you do that up to the 2nd week of flower.
And
we don't spray anything after the 2nd week of flower.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Not even food. This is another issue I always see all the time. I'll be like, have you ever used nematodes or anything like that? And they'll be like, yeah, I use nematodes. And then we'll go through trying to troubleshoot their issues. Come to find out, last time they applied nematodes was like a year ago, 6 months ago. We put it on there, but every 2 to 4 weeks, we're reapplying nematodes.
Yeah.
Perfect segue to say where we get our nematodes from.
Evergreen growers.
Yes, we'll
cheapest
put links.
bulk nematodes you can, and predators.
Yeah, for bugs in general.
We don't really, we can't compete in that space. There's no
No.
reason for us to try to.
No.
We use Evergreen personally. They're great.
They're super cool. What I like so much about them is just coming in, I say I have an average Joe coming in, they've never used bugs before. Well, I get to show them Evergreen's website. Let's say they have thrips or aphids, whatever. You can click on those, and then it gives you a list of bugs that fight those, and you don't have to search it that way. They also just have all of their bugs on there in general. You can click any bug, and then it gives you a really in-depth description of their life cycle, of how to use them, and just a good general description of them.
It's a good website.
It's amazing, and
Now, some people do get sticker shock because you have to overnight
Yes.
all predators. And I literally had
Yes.
somebody on like Instagram or Reddit this weekend, like I pointed him to Evergreen, and it was cheaper than what they're going to buy, even with the overnight shipping. But he's like, that shipping's fucked, and I'm like, they got to overnight it or
So
they're going to die.
here's a caveat to them too. Yeah. So Evergreen Grower Supply, you have to buy it overnight. They have to ship it overnight, right? Today's Wednesday, and I think it's the day it goes out. Wednesday or Thursdays are their day they ship out. But let's say it's a Sunday, and you ordered from Evergreen Grower Supply. They force you to pay the next day shipping. And for the record, guys, this is standard shipping practice.
That doesn't mean you're
companies
shipping it
in the
out
world.
the next day.
It does not mean it's
No.
getting shipped out the next day. It means whenever it does get shipped out, it's going to take one day.
Yeah.
So don't yell at Evergreen Grower Supply for them being late on a shipment. They're really good people.
No, they are.
And they're really helpful.
Yeah.
But again, I kind of went on a tangent. 250 million nematodes for $60
Yeah.
is
You just can't beat it.
you can't beat that. I
Yeah.
mean, that's amazing. And
And
then
you can
just cut
split
it into
that.
slivers.
Yeah, you cut it into slivers, and you can use them for months.
Home grow, commercial grow.
Yep.
Highly recommend. We
And
still
they
use
stay.
them.
If you put them in your fridge, I've looked at nematodes under a microscope after 9 months, all still alive.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, they do good. They
Yeah.
do really good. The nematodes. So yeah, again, every 2 to 4 weeks, make sure you're freshly applying nematodes.
Yep.
Best way to apply them is spray them out the soil
What kind
real
of
good.
nematodes?
HB and SF nematodes.
There you go.
But again, there's a little notes section on the IPM portion, wherever it's at on the screen.
Yeah.
On the bottom, and it tells you all of the bugs that we use, including nematodes. So yeah, that's the veg.
But the row beetles, you didn't go over in hypoaspis miles and veg.
I said that.
You
I said
mentioned row, didn't you?
hypoaspis miles
Or
as well.
Stratiolaelaps.
Yeah, Stratiolaelaps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Stratiolaelaps, row beetles, nematodes in veg, 100% do it. We get so many people like with ordering natural because they have gnat issues and just thrips issues, things like that. This keeps you from that. We don't get gnats. We just don't. If you do it right, you won't. Now I think we have gnats on the cactus.
Cactus, we have a couple
like we
gnats in the
did.
cactus
I feel like we
because
It's just rocks.
it's
Anyways.
it's a lot of pumice.
That's a side. That's a side
Yeah,
thing,
we overwatered it for a long time.
Yeah, we did.
Long
That's
story short.
fair.
Yeah.
But anyways, in veg, the Stratiolaelaps, the row beetles, and the SF nematodes, I think are mandatory. The HB, we do it for nutrient cycling. I think they're mandatory. That's literally all you got to do. And you're going to, if you have any questions about that, about how many or what to order, we'll answer it. We can't sell them to you.
Yeah.
But we'll tell you what to order, and I'm sure
Happily.
Evergreen-
Like
yeah,
that's what what I do for a living. I get paid to help people out. I love it. So I hate when people are on the phone, they're like, sorry to take so much time. Nah, dude, this is what I do for my life. This is my life. I
Even
love
if
it.
we don't have something to sell you, that's okay.
Yeah,
We don't
it's
have
not
to
the
sell
end of
you
the world.
something.
Just call, say what's up,
Yeah.
whatever. But now we're onto the flower side,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So we said in bold on the sap testing, do not spray more than 2 weeks into flower.
Yep.
Same shit. You can still spray your Sulfur X or
And
impede
impede,
up until 2 weeks of flower. Now, when you do spray those, make sure lights are off. Don't have your lights on. You're gonna burn your shit.
And make sure you haven't already applied predators.
Yeah.
So you just killed them.
to the above ground
Yeah,
predator.
yeah.
Yeah, above soil predators.
Yeah.
Because he just killed them.
Yeah.
But that's it. So stop spraying shit in flower, especially 2 weeks.
Yep.
And then strictly, that's when you add the bulk of all the bugs. The ones that you haven't added, go ahead and add all of them, and hang your sachets, go for it, go crazy, and that's it. Just let it roll the rest of the run.
Through the list.
So what we do, we add Amblyceus cucumaris, we add Californicus, green lacewings, Aureus.
Aureus. Yeah, that's supposed to be. We'll fix that.
Yeah, I'll fix
Yeah,
it.
we just found a typo. We got rid of that.
I'm
Aureus.
curious if
If
it's-
thrips pressure, it is present.
Yeah,
That's fine.
that's so. Funny.
So
Aureus
we don't
and-
always use Aureus, but if you've had some thrips, man, they will knock them down.
Yeah.
They really do knock them back.
No, they work for sure.
And then if you need to reapply the Stratio, aka hypoaspis, or the rows, you can check your populations with the microscope. You might need to reapply. That's a good time to do
Yeah, and if you guys really hated buying rove beetles, he actually has a how to farm a rove beetles
yeah.
video too. I should have put that on here. So yeah, there's videos on how to maintain your rove beetle population.
Yeah.
And avocados are your best
Avocados
friend.
will
Yeah,
work,
avocados are your best friend. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
they'll keep row beetles and your
Anytime you
mites
get
up.
worms, bugs, cut up an avocado, put each side on one half of the pot or bed, whatever, and that can help you monitor your populations. So now we're in a highly debated topic. defoliation, and trellis. We weren't even sure if we should put
We
defoliation
debated
on.
this.
Yeah, we weren't sure if we should even put it on there. I like it.
I changed the language to be more ambiguous.
Yes, yeah, for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we have in this section plant management, trellis, and then notes. And then I like to put notes at the bottom of every section if you guys haven't noticed. In clone and veg, or in seedling and clone stage, you don't got to do anything.
No.
I mean, there's really nothing you can do.
Yeah.
Now come veg, whenever they get big enough, you can begin to train your plants, put them throughout the trellis.
Put your first layer of trellis.
Yeah, put your first layer of trellis down, and then begin to, spread them out, right? This is where we debate. I wanted to say aggressively do it, but people can misconstrue things.
Yeah.
So yeah, try and spread your shit out, but don't break shit either. And that's it. Apply your first layer of trellis. Now we're done with veg, right? So you spread it, make sure light's going through.
And we tend to
There's a million
really
videos on how to do
weave
this.
in and out.
Yeah.
So when they start growing up, it really fills in the holes.
And you might actually, I should have put topping. You might want to top your plants depending on your grow. Every grow is different. I didn't put it in this, and I might make that change. We'll talk about it. You want to top your plants. The reason being is because if your light is here and you can't raise your light anymore, when you flip to flower, a lot of times your plant is gonna be like twice as tall. So it'll probably be.
But it
in
also
there.
create more tops.
It'll make it makes more tops.
It does. I mean, when we plant a plant into a bed or a pot from like the clone stage, we always top it.
Yeah,
so
every
it'll
time.
take off.
Yeah, exactly.
It takes off faster. There's less likelihood that it'll be stressed or have any issues in transplant shops.
Yeah,
something like
100%.
that.
And but again, we don't even need to make videos on how to scrog and top. There's so many videos on how to do that, and
it's personal
we actually
preference.
did do a video on how we top. I believe. Did we post it?
I don't know.
Maybe we did. I remember filming it. But that's it. You're gonna scrog, top your plants. Make sure you're spreading them out throughout your trellis really well. Come in flower, that's when you might need to add a second, possibly a third layer of trellis.
A lot of times we do 3.
Yeah, a lot of times we have to do 3. This is where he's schooled me hardcore on. I used to just pull off leaves to help airflow and help little light penetrate. Screw that. I like to pull branches now, thanks to him. So cut whole branches off, maintain that lollipop form, but it really opens things up, and it's a lot faster. And at the end of the day, when you're trimming big nugs, not those tiny little nugs that you have to trim, but once you trim them, they're shake now. Yeah, it prevents those.
So just any of those little gimpy branches that are sticking up between the main colas.
Yeah, just be real with yourself.
Yeah.
It's hard at first, but just be real with yourself. Think, at the end of the day, will this be a big nug?
Yeah.
Probably not. Just cup it. Save yourself some time.
And then trim everything from the first trellis down bare.
Yeah.
So just like totally bald. I call it shaving the legs. He calls it lollipopping. Whatever you want to fucking call it. From first trellis down. There's no light.
I'm
there.
gonna
There's
call
no-
it shaving legs now. I don't know if
It's
you
old
ever
school.
just say
Yeah,
that.
it's old school.
I like it.
Yeah, it's literally the leg. It looks
Shaving
like,
the
yeah, so you
legs.
shave the legs, because
Yeah.
there's nothing's gonna happen with it. It's literally just wasted energy.
Yeah,
so you
exactly.
just get rid of all of it.
And going off of that, that's another reason why you take these branches, right? Because whenever it's growing little baby nugs, it won't ever be anything. But the plant is putting energy into growing those, right?
It is.
So now, instead of focusing on these giant, nice tops, it's focusing
growing
on
a bunch
these
of
little
gimpy-
bullshit,
yeah,
on these little lame nugs. That when you trim them, they're just gonna turn into shake anyway.
Yeah.
So just save yourself time.
And we don't really
Cut 'em.
defoliate at all. You can watch our videos. Now, we take some leaves off if it will help airflow.
We get a
or
lot of
something
shit
like
for
that.
this, and we don't have mold issues. So I don't
Yeah, it's kind
understand
of
it.
funny.
Yeah,
No,
it's
we
like,
get
what?
a lot of shit for not stripping it down to a Charlie Brown
all of the
Christmas tree.
time.
But we don't have mold issues. We don't have. I mean, we passed testing.
And we are in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
People on the West Coast, I just came from the West Coast. They still struggle with this. They think
All right. The camera battery died. They only last so long.
Yeah.
I guess we've been rambling.
we've been rambling.
So,
yeah.
But we left off.
What I was getting at is on the West
defoliation.
Coast, yeah, they really think it's super humid there. And it's humid there, I guess. Dude, in Oklahoma, it really is humid. So a lot of times, people have mold issues.
A lot.
But good biology, good things going. Make sure your lollipops.
Good
You won't,
airflow.
you won't have the mold
healthy
issues here.
plants that
Yeah.
are nutrient dense
Mhm.
that can fight those types of things.
Yeah, exactly. So mold is a real life thing here in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Just when you do things the right way, it won't be issue for you. You know what I mean?
No,
Uh,
it shouldn't be.
yeah, and that was defoliation and trellis, and it sucks the video crapped out because we're on the last portion and it
It's
takes
alright.
2 seconds.
Batteries only last so long.
Yep. So now on the portion of other, that we have the light cycle and the aerometer reading.
Yeah.
In the veg and seedling portion, we keep it at 18 hours on, 6 hours off. Veg, clone, and seedling. 18 hours on,
Yeah.
6 hours off.
A lot of people like to do 24/0, but I think they need to rest.
Yeah. The way I picture that is, what in life doesn't need rest? Like, it doesn't make
Meth
much.
heads?
Yeah.
They don't need rest.
But they need meth.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
know, you gotta have
That's
something.
true.
You gotta have something.
That's fair.
So you need rest or meth, apparently.
Yeah.
So yeah, give the motherfuckers rest, dude.
Yeah.
24 hours on. It's just, where in the world, I guess, Alaska during some times of the year,
Yeah.
it's 24 hours.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I don't know where else in the world it does that.
But this is what we use that works for us. If you want to use 24/0, go for it.
Yeah,
It's
if you
whatever.
do 24/0, if it works for you,
Yeah.
whatever. I've seen better results 18 and
I
6,
agree.
hands down, not even close. Now, obviously, during flower, the standard 12 on, 12 off does wonders. It's
It does.
great. Don't need to change the
I
little
know
success in
some
that one,
people
in my
tweak
opinion.
to like an 11/13 and things like that. I think you can play with that. There's nothing wrong with that. That's cultivar specific a lot of times. But the caveat to our 12 on, 12 off is if you're using a controller, you can use the sunset mode, which I like a lot. And you can adjust it from 5 minutes to like 30 minutes usually. And so it slowly ramps up the light, early in the day, and the light goes full blast after 5 to 30 minutes. And at the end of the day, it slowly goes down. I prefer that. I think it's a cool thing to do because it tries to mimic outside a little bit because this is
Yeah, and
really
on
fake.
pretty much living soil is like getting a plot of land outside and bringing it
Yeah.
inside, indoor living soil.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's the same thing, so it would only make sense to do something
Yeah.
like that. And now for the aerometer, if you've seen in any of our other videos, we hardcore stress the aerometers.
all we talk about.
Yeah,
We're
dude, I
literally
mean,
sponsored by them.
we should be sponsored
should
by
be.
them. But for real, they're so useful. I've said it before. I fought this guy a lot, thinking I could do it without an aerometer. Just dip my finger in there, whatever. It's a night and day difference. It really is. So we like to keep it between 10 and 15 the entire life of the soil, right? So that even means
If there's
on the
not a
far
plant
right
in it.
side, yes,
Yeah.
in between runs, you're still going to be watering your soil. Make sure it stays between 10 and 15. Gray here earlier today was like, I didn't water that 10 because it was at 10. The only thing I want to note on that is there's no plants going. So just in case, make sure you're hitting it evenly whenever you do water.
So you don't have dry spots.
So you don't have dry spots, because it can happen even with an aerometer when there's nothing in there. I mean, it's possible.
Or it can get real wet. And
Yeah.
Stay wet.
Yeah,
Because there's
yeah,
no
because
plants
nothing
sucking
just,
it up.
yeah. So just be careful when you do that. And that's ultimately it. A final little thing I want to point out is on the very bottom right, there's a little warning symbol. And what it's stating is this SOP, it requires, like it is no ifs, ands, or buts. It genuinely requires a soil and or a SAP test.
Yep.
Or else this SOP, please don't use it.
Doesn't
Don't
matter.
use it. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I don't want any credit or anything like that. People aren't
Yeah.
using a SAP and a soil test, because that's what's telling you what to do.
I think I got another change. We already got a 2.0 and we haven't even posted
Yeah.
this. Indoor Living Soil Cultivation SOP.
Yes, we're not making that a
I
slight
don't want.
change.
Well, I don't want
I
something.
like that
Obviously, it
because I
doesn't
would
make
do
sense
outdoor a
to
little
apply
bit
it outdoor.
differently, yeah.
Outdoor would be different, and we
Yeah.
can work on that. But we deal with mostly indoor people.
Yeah, just realistically.
We do.
The reason being, because, I mean, in Oklahoma, I mean, our winds are like 15 miles an hour,
And
right?
the
So,
temperatures are just crazy.
yeah,
fluctuating
it
and-
just
yeah.
fluctuates. Like, it was 110 degrees 3 weeks ago, and now it's 80.
Yeah.
So it's what the fuck.
And
So our outdoors
let us
different.
know if you want custom color prints, different flags, or
yeah, we talked about this. Actually, in terms of the colors of this SOP, I wanted to color code it. I could not come up with an idea, though, as to what these colors mean.
They don't mean anything.
Yeah, so they don't mean anything.
Nah.
If you guys have ideas, though, of what the colors could mean, let
It's
us know.
literally a pride flag.
Yeah,
Stop it.
it's the closest we could get to a pride flag with trying to show people the SOPs.
Yeah. It really is.
Yeah, hell yeah.
We're allies.
Yeah. That's
Anything
it.
else?
Yeah, no, I think
we
that's
went
really
over it all.
about
Let's
it.
look at the notes. I think that's it. I think that's pretty good. I would say if you have questions along the way, again, this is version 1.
Truly version
Yeah.
1 released to the public.
Yeah,
Like
it's,
we've showed
it's version
other people,
1. It's
but-
not going to be perfect. This is our practices we do in our heads, and this is the first
We're
time.
just trying to put it on paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, so everybody can understand and not be confused.
And so what we're going to do next is we're going to now do actual legit standard operating procedures for the different phases of growing.
Yep.
And so we're going to go into flower and we're going to break it down. Use this product this much on this day, this type shit. Like we're going to really get more in detail. So like you could actually, if you had a commercial grower or a home grower or whatever and you're new, you could just look at it and run through it. Like a schedule, but you're pulling data, so you're only using products that your garden needs.
Similar to a format like this.
Similar to a format just like that. Yeah. And it's all going to be free, and we're going to put it out there. That's going to be a little more in depth. That's going to take a while.
It'll take a lot longer.
It will. But this is the
realistically.
first release. I think doing this was like an icebreaker for us.
Yeah, it was an icebreaker, and again, the big point of it is to get you to understand why you're doing something and to educate. You know, rather than me saying, "Hey, this is why you do this," and now you're smarter. You're doing this yourself now. You're getting this data yourself. Maybe the recommendations are coming from me or someone else, but you're still getting this data yourself, and that's the most important part. You're going to learn so much without even trying, literally.
Yeah.
And that's the best advice I can give.
If there's
people.
any changes you'd like to see or something that doesn't make sense to you,
Like a legit pride flag, more specific one.
just email us or call us. The info's at the bottom of the SOP. We're glad to walk through anything. We're glad to take any information in and maybe apply it to a change that we think is fitting.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all about decentralizing information here.
100%.
Yeah, we're really big on that.
Yeah.
We're not trying to gatekeep stuff.
No, we're not
we
trying to
we
put you
want it
behind a
out there.
paywall.
Yeah, we want it out there. We want people to know. We want the best stuff out. Period.
Yeah.
Me, when I go to a dispensary, or when I guess I don't really, but if I were to go to a dispensary, I want
You did on
the best
vacation.
stuff. I did on vacation, yes. I want the best stuff. So if I'm educating people to be the best grower they can, me at the end of the day, in a selfish way, I get better products. So it's a win-win-win for everybody.
Yeah.
When you do things the right way, and it's astronomically cheaper to get started in living soil. Buying the soil can be more expensive if you're having to buy the soil, but maintaining the shit, if you follow this schedule, you'll be like, dude, I'm saving so much money. It's really cool to watch and witness, and then see people get smarter, and it's just great. It's really cool.
I would point out on this whole thing, once you go through it and look at it, you don't have to buy anything from us at all. We didn't put a product on here that only we have, that you have to get from us because we're hyping it up or anything like that. You can literally take this and don't ever buy anything from us ever.
Yeah, 100%. We have our preferences, Organics Alive, Google, shit
But
like
you can
that.
buy Organics Live from other people. You
You
can buy
buy
it from
Google
Organics
from other
Live. You
people.
can buy it from other distributors. That's fine.
Yeah.
You don't have to buy anything from us. We didn't name any products on here that only we carry that we're forcing you into this SOP with. Not at all. You can get sap testing from whoever the fuck you want. You don't have to use us. You can get soil testing from whoever the fuck you want. You don't have to use us. You can buy all these products from whoever you want. This is just free. You do what you want with it.
And then if you have questions, just call us.
And
that's
yeah,
why.
and even if you don't-
that's why we put our number.
Yeah,
We about put our
if-
personal number.
If you
No,
buy
I'm just
all
kidding.
this stuff from somebody else and call us, we're still going to help you.
Literally, like, if you have straight up, if you bought soil from other people and you got a soil test, and you want to understand it better, call us. Whatever.
Totally.
We're here to help you. That's what we do for a living.
Because
It
selfishly,
makes
we
us
get
happy.
to learn and collect the data.
That's the real answer.
Yeah.
Selfishly, we get to learn, and it's great.
Yeah.
But no, seriously, it does also make us happy to help
It
you
does.
guys
does.
and see you guys get better as growers. It's really cool. It's
Yeah.
super cool.
We also find entertainment in it, like different data. It's not.
No, it's cool to see.
Yeah,
No,
it's
it's awesome.
it's super cool to see.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I love it.
Yeah.
So, is that
That's
it?
Yeah, I
We
don't
good?
got anything
You got anything to
else.
add?
No.
No, we're good.
Do you want to walk around here?
No, you're still invisible.
He's Norwegian.
We're not gonna talk
so-
about
He is
I don't
Norwegian.
think they do
he's
that in
he's a
Norway.
Viking. He's a Viking. He's like 6'4", long blonde hair. He's ripped. He's jacked.
He literally looks like Thor.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
won't
yeah.
come around the camera though.
It's
I
so
don't
weird.
know why.
It's so weird.
He's probably bricked up still.
Yeah, gotta be. All right. So if you enjoy this, subscribe to us. If you're not subscribed, please like it. If you're not following us on Instagram, follow us on Instagram. We will delve deeper into this. It's going to probably take a month or two, I bet, to get the more intricate flower and veg SOPs out.
I don't like
but
the
it's
2 months. Real shit.
Probably.
He's a perfectionist, so.
I'm not. So it's going to take forever. It might not ever happen. But we will get it out there. In the meantime, be on the lookout for other videos. We've got a lot of other stuff coming out. We're just going to be creating more content. We're going to be doing more farm tours.
Yeah.
We got that trade show coming up.
Yeah, we've got trade shows coming up, and we're going to be, if you follow us on Instagram, I don't know if we'll be able to post about it on our YouTube videos because of the timing, but we're going to be doing giveaways at these trade shows. So if you follow us on Instagram, we're going to tell you how to get involved in that giveaway.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a first come, first serve winner type situation.
It's a badass giveaway, actually. I don't want to say what it is, but it's a super badass giveaway that whoever is involved in it will be very happy if they were to win. It doesn't matter who wins; they're all going to be.
But we've got a lot coming, and then our next series of like Reddit style questions that we're answering, we're going to do it different, and it's going to be bigger and better than the first.
Now we have a laptop now.
We have a laptop. Look,
look
it's a
at
Red
this
Bud
shit.
laptop.
Look.
We're legit.
Yeah, we actually make laptops as well.
Yep.
No, I'm just kidding.
They suck.
Yeah, they're janky.
They're
Our
rebranded.
laptops
They're rebranded
are-
from Alibaba.
Yeah, they're cool though.
Windows XP.
Yeah.
It literally is. No, I'm just kidding. All right, is that it? We're good?
We're fucking around.
Thanks for joining us. Again, if you got any questions, all our contact info is on here. You can get this on our website. I'm going to put the link in this video as well. You can download it. And let's just keep the conversation going.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And thanks for listening to us.
Oh yeah.